Hey everybody, welcome to a JVIC Tech Call video response. This is from our April call, and I'm responding to a group of questions about the same topic, and that topic is LeadPages. So how do you get from LeadPages to selling and delivering the product? For that, I'm going to refer you to the One Shopping Cart video that I made, because I actually not only set up One Shopping Cart, but I connected it to LeadPages. I made an opt-in form and I tied it to One Shopping Cart and talked about selling a product. And so I hope that the One Shopping Cart video should answer that question pretty well. So Rob, are LeadPages better than Infusionsoft? Well, they're two different things. Infusionsoft and One Shopping Cart and Entreport and some of these other solutions are how you process transactions, and that sounds kind of complicated, but it just means how you collect email addresses and send out emails and take orders and collect the money and keep track of things and generate affiliate links and all that stuff. So what LeadPages does, and what it does really well, is it makes web pages for people to put in their information and for you to collect it into Infusionsoft or One Shopping Cart or Entreport. So LeadPages is a separate creature, and what they do really, really well. They've got all sorts of categories. They've got pages that make people, or I guess I say make people, they've got pages that are really good at getting people to give you their name and email address. They've got pages that are great at getting people registered for webinars. They've got pages that are great for selling products. And so LeadPages makes web pages, whereas Infusion, One Shopping Cart, Entreport, these are more like back-end systems to basically manage all your prospects, customers, and sales, and affiliates. So is LeadPages better than Infusionsoft? No, they're two things that should be used together. If you've already got Infusionsoft, I don't know why I'm having trouble with that. If you've already got Infusionsoft, then stick with it. If you don't have Infusion yet and you're kind of looking around for what's the best back-end system, I'll tell you that you'll be doing really well to go with One Shopping Cart. It's what Rich and Milana use in their businesses and use with the JVIC, and it's what I know best, so I can give you the best support on it. But if you're already invested in Infusionsoft, unless it financially makes sense to switch, it's going to be a pain in the neck to switch. So I would stay with Infusionsoft. So I hope that answers your question there. What do you do if you're using Aweber and WordPress already? So, Aweber is a way to collect names and email addresses, but it doesn't do all that other back-end stuff. So I love Aweber for deliverability, and in the cases where I've seen sophisticated people using Aweber, they typically will use Aweber for emailing their prospects, but they'll use their shopping cart system, which is like Infusion or One Shopping Cart or Entreport. They'll use that system for emailing their customers. So those are pretty sophisticated people, because they somehow connect the prospect system with Aweber to the customer system with their shopping cart. So if you're already using Aweber, I think that's fine, but you do need a way to track affiliate stuff and process orders, and that's probably the two big things. So I'm not sure if Aweber and WordPress, if you kind of have a complete solution there. If you do have a complete solution and you're happy with it, then I say stick with it, and listen to these tech calls, ask questions about your stuff, but I would not just abandon what you already have in place. But if you're not very invested into the process, I would probably gently encourage you to switch from Aweber over to One Shopping Cart, even for your prospects. Now, it's true that Aweber has a higher deliverability rate than One Shopping Cart, or at least that used to be true. I imagine it still is, because Aweber does one thing and they do it really well, and that's email marketing. But having everything in one place can keep life so simple and streamlined, and I'm really more in favor of an all-in-one solution than trying to piece together a bunch of different solutions. An example might be somebody unsubscribes off your Aweber list. They say, don't ever contact me again, yet maybe they bought something from you a year ago, and now you're emailing them from One Shopping Cart, and they're like, hey, I told you never to contact me again. Well, you can't really connect those two systems together, so it's stuff that you're going to manually have to keep an eye on. So all things equal, I would recommend a combination of One Shopping Cart and LeadPages. And if you need more flexibility than LeadPages, also incorporating Optimized Press. Okay, so are lead pages similar to WordPress and OptimizePress? Yes, they are, in that lead pages lets you make web pages, and OptimizePress is a theme for WordPress and also lets you make web pages. Both solutions are very, very beautiful, and they convert leads, and neither one is really, really hard to use. OptimizePress has a little bit of a higher learning curve, but it's not that big a deal. So, but between the two, if you were just picking one or the other, if you're going to go with lead pages, that's probably going to be the simplest and I think the best solution, because they are going to do the best job at helping you gather names and email addresses. Their stuff just, I don't know of anything better than lead pages for building your list. And if you're doing JVs, that's what you want. You want to collect those names and email addresses and then send people thoughtful emails so they stay on your list and buy your stuff. With OptimizePress, you have more flexibility. So what I imagine is going to happen is a lot of people in the JVIC are going to go with lead pages and perhaps one shopping cart. And then as you're making these lead pages, you're going to get a little bit frustrated that you have to stay inside their templates. You can't do more. You can't have 5 bullet points instead of 4. Or you can't put your headline over here or over there. Or maybe you want to add something to the page that's not there. With lead pages, you pretty much have to use their templates and make your stuff fit in there. With the combination of WordPress and OptimizePress, meaning, let's just call it OptimizePress, you have way more flexibility. If you want to have a really long sales letter with 5 boxes that state the guarantee, you can do that. I'm not sure I'd recommend that, but what I'm saying is that if you find yourself limited by what lead pages can do, you may want to move to OptimizePress for once you already have the person's name and email address. I would still recommend lead pages for collecting names and emails, but I would recommend OptimizePress when you're talking about making sales pages, and also when you're talking about delivering content to people. When you're talking about delivering your audios and your videos and your PDFs and stuff like that, OptimizePress does a really good job, and they even have a free membership module. You can get real involved with OptimizePress as far as managing your customers and what content they have access to and what they can see. So I hope that I've answered that question. If not, please bring it to the next call. Okay, if you already have a website, does LeadPages integrate with that? The answer is yes. When you create a page in LeadPage, you can either leave it on their server, so it'll have, the URL will be whatever your LeadPages username is. Let's say your LeadPages name is Lucky. If it's Lucky, then your URL would be like lucky.leadpages.net / and then whatever your page name is. And you can leave stuff on LeadPages. In fact, for like a launch, I'd recommend it so that LeadPages can handle all that traffic and you don't have to worry about crashing your website. But if you're talking about just like maybe a smaller JV or even a medium JV, and you'd like to have your own URL up at the top and not have it say leadpages.net, then yeah, LeadPages provides 3 other options. One option is to download basically connect it to WordPress. So if you're using WordPress, you can bring your lead page over onto your website and it'll just integrate really nicely. Another option is you can download all the HTML code and install it yourself. So if you're pretty tech savvy with respect to putting HTML up and pages and FTP and blah blah blah, if you can do all that, you can actually download the lead page to your website and manage it yourself. And then the other option they'll do is they'll actually connect with Facebook and make a Facebook tab on one of your Facebook pages, which is really cool because if you've got people in Facebook, you can send them over to your LeadPages tab and convert your visitors into subscribers very easily. So if you already have a website, does LeadPages integrate with that? Yes, absolutely. What LeadPages does well is it helps you collect names and emails, aka helps you build your list. All right, so someone else says, so happy you recommended LeadPages, just got the 30-day trial, wondered if you'd recommend it. Yep, absolutely. Is LeadPages better than 10-minute pages? Considering I've never heard of 10-minute pages, I'm going to say yes pretty confidently, but I don't know 10-minute pages. So I really, I can't say with 100%, but if somebody said, held a gun to my head and said, quick, recommend LeadPages or 10-minute pages, I'd easily recommend LeadPages. It's a proven home run winner. Okay, I have Infusionsoft. Do I need LeadPages? Well, yeah, if you're giving me the power to say it, I'd say yes, you do. They work together, they don't compete. So LeadPages can put your names and emails from your visitors and from your JV traffic into Infusionsoft. Can you connect your existing website with LeadPages? Yes. If yes, how do you do that? Yeah, that kind of depends on what you're trying to do. And by that I mean, if you have a WordPress site, you can use their WordPress connector thing. If you've got a raw HTML site, you can download the LeadPage code and put it there. Or what most of my clients do, and by the way, my clients are like peers of Rich and Milana, so they're doing business at a high level, and most of them actually leave the URL on LeadPages. And the number one reason for doing that, well, let's say two reasons. Number one is it's super easy just to leave it there and use it. If you have to make a change, bam, it's just there. You don't have to download or synchronize or anything like that. But number two is, especially during a launch or in times of heavy traffic, the LeadPages servers can handle that traffic. Your own website could crash, or they might just shut you down saying you don't have enough bandwidth left over or whatever. So you absolutely can connect your existing website, but I kind of call that like a next step, not a first step. I'd say first step is get LeadPages up and running. You won't have maybe a pretty URL because it'll have leadpages.net in it, but it doesn't matter because it'll still be super effective. Okay, I see there are two levels in LeadPages. Membership, can we upgrade later if we take the lower cost option? Yes, absolutely. That's what I did in my own business. I started with the lower membership. I was in it for a few months, played around with it, learned it, then realized I wanted the higher option with the split testing and the affiliate program and all that stuff. And so when I chose to upgrade, what it basically does is they look at the full price of a year of upgrading and they subtract whatever money you've already paid and they charge you that. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so then what if you have an existing business site? Will LeadPages integrate or require a separate website? Nope, it integrates. No problem there. It's just like I've been talking about before. It depends on what kind of site you have, but absolutely. Okay, does it make sense, since I already have the Squarespace site, to make a LeadPages landing page for specific program launch and keep Squarespace as my main site? Yes, absolutely, do that. Okay, so if you don't need more than 4 bullet points or more room, what are the advantages of Optimized Press versus LeadPages? Is there a reason to have both? Yeah, and it's like I said earlier, you can start with just LeadPages and perhaps one shopping cart or Infusion or Ontraport, but what'll happen is you'll probably use, this is the wrong way to phrase it, but I'm going to say grow out of LeadPages. And what I mean is you'll need more than what LeadPages can offer as far as other types of web pages like sales pages and membership pages and content delivery pages and things like that. If you can fit your stuff into LeadPages, you're golden. But if you realize that you cannot fit your stuff into LeadPages, then yeah, then you're going to need something else, and it can be a plain old web page somewhere, or you can use Optimized Press, which makes really beautiful web pages, and it also has some cool stuff like a whole membership platform inside of Optimized Press. Okay, confused between LeadPages and Optimized Press? Yep, don't blame you. If you're confused, go with LeadPages. Then when you start scratching your head, bring that question to the call, or just consider getting Optimized Press. Okay, there are two options for LeadPages, $37 or $67 a month. Should we do the higher price one? I say no until you realize you need it. And again, that's what I did in my own business. I started with the $37 a month. I paid yearly because it was cheaper, but I started with the lower one. And then when I realized I wanted the split testing and wanted the affiliate program and the other benefits, I went ahead and upgraded. Yeah, and so extra benefits look like lead links, A/B split testing. Do I think they're necessary? Yeah, as your business grows, you're going to find that you want those things. But you don't have to do it right away. Again, you can start off small. You'll be totally, I can't promise you'll be successful, but I sure feel like it, because if you can get traffic to your LeadPages, you will flat out gather names and emails anyway. I don't know what you're going to do with your names and emails, but whatever you do with them, LeadPages will help you get names and emails. LeadPages or LeadPages? Yeah, it's kind of hard to hear that maybe, but it's Lead, L-E-A-D. Okay, regarding LeadPages, how does it compare to Megaphone? I have no experience to Megaphone, so if they both do the same thing, for the same reason that I didn't recommend that other product, I would recommend LeadPages. If Megaphone does something different, maybe maybe that can help you, especially if you're already invested in Megaphone. And yeah, so what you want to do in your business is you want to start getting some results, and you can always improve. So if you've already got something in place, I'd say don't freak out and drop what you've got and start getting LeadPages and optimized press and one shopping cart and blah, blah, blah. Use what you've already got and use it well. But if you're just starting out or you're already kind of itching to improve, then you might take some of this advice and use it. Would you recommend using LeadPages even if you have Infusionsoft? Yes. Is there a benefit of LeadPages landing page instead or in addition to Infusionsoft landing pages? I've got to think so, just because everybody's using LeadPages. Like, and when I say everybody, I mean like my clients and all their peers are using LeadPages, even though a lot of them have Infusionsoft. So the built-in Infusionsoft landing pages, I strongly suspect are not as good as LeadPages, though I've never used one, so I can't tell you if Infusionsoft's landing pages are any good. I think you answered this by saying, oh, no, I'm going to kind of strike that part there. It's not quite accurate. Okay, great. That was just Tara commenting on the question to help me out, but that was related to something else. Okay, how does LeadPages lead into my autoresponder, and then which one should I get? So in the One Shopping Cart video, I actually created a whole One Shopping Cart account. You can watch all that stuff. I integrated it with PayPal. I told you how to get Visa and MasterCard and all that by using Practice Pay Solutions. But another thing I did in that video is I set up a lead page and I connected the opt-in page to One Shopping Cart, which redirected to the thank you page. And that's the answer to that question. So if you can go in and watch that video, it's kind of a long video, but it's on One Shopping Cart. You'll see how LeadPages can connect to your autoresponder. All right, that's the LeadPages video. Thank you for watching.